All right. What is happening, guys? Good to see you for another episode. Thanks for joining in. My computer's facing here and the camera's facing here, so apologies if I'm talking when I'm looking like this. I'm looking at my screen. We had these levels marked out. I was very interested in potentially taking a short from here. Midnight open. There's a quick play we could run for a move to the downside here. I think Asian session lows are the clear target as we approach 3. I'll just see what sort of reaction we're getting around VWAP. See if we can potentially look to come in again. Looking at all these closures, not looking too great. Before we get in, let me just link the accounts that we want to have linked. Cool. And then we'll link these ones. This one we had the 1,000 and this one we had the 300 up. I won't let you do lots of linking, so we're just going to have to take these two up. Basically, we got all these 3 linked and then these 2 separate. So I'm going to run with this 3 linked first. Just because we have the most buffer room in them at the moment. So yeah, we end up taking that push up to VWAP. See what sort of closure we're looking to get now around the midnight open again. If we do get one, do have a tiny little imbalance above this high. So let's see if we can take this liquidity, take this high, and then look for a move to the downside. If we don't have lots of momentum to the upside. So this right here, we've got some definitely bullish momentum stepping in now. Usually around 3, it's just a run on liquidity. That's what I'm anticipating here. Just a bit of a run to these highs. We've also got these resting highs and then this 5-minute CB resting just above all of that. If we switch all this up, make this blue, just going to see how price reacts if we can get to this line, taking out the stops that are resting in here as well. So until we see that, we haven't really got much to do right now. We've got the ASL and ASH all marked out here. This has been like open on this candle right here. So this is probably not a bad spot to start our initial move. Set stops above this high. Looking to risk $100 on this first trade. We can just have down here at the, so see if we can take all of these highs. I did get in a little bit early here, but based on this reaction off midnight on a micro time frames looking pretty good. And we'll just see this 5-minute closure. If we close down underneath this city, then we can look to add on to this position. Looks like we're just closing above here. As I said before, this run on this spot here looks to be the most ideal before we can get in short. We'll push it for this blue line now. It's been tapped. If we close down below this BC in here now, we're looking to add more into our position here. We're just being patient, waiting to see what we need to see before we continue our moves. If we get the inversion, which it looks like we are right now, adding 3 into here. That's up into here. Tap right off that blue line. If you can get another closure, like down towards these bodies, to add in again. Is there anything that we missed? Not really. All this has been efficiently filled. We've been moving down as well, like pretty bearish since the Asian open. We've just spooled a lot lower. So momentum is definitely to the downside. I'm trying to fight the trend here. Just waiting to see what we need to see before we can up the risk. So based on this reaction, we're probably going to have to shut this one a bit early. Bit unfortunate. We just kept on pushing. Probably looking for VWAP maybe on these high time frames. But still a minute to go on this 3-minute. If we get taken out, we get taken out. It is what it is. I'm still thinking lower prices. And the reason I'm saying that is if we jump over here, we've got this monthly busy like resting right below us here. Especially on Monday, hopefully if we're moving against away from the move, we should be spooling a little bit lower. Just watching where we are here. We haven't taken highs or lows. We do have this hourly CB up here. This could be why we're pushing up for this, but I still think the lows are the low hanging fruit and this monthly busy resting below. For now, I'm going to stay in the trade, not looking to add on until we can get into some form of profit. Right now, the trade is against us. So we're just going to keep everything as is. I'm just watching the next 15-second candle here. Seeing if we can start respecting CVs to the downside. As soon as we start respecting a few CVs in a row, I think we're on side to add a bit more on. So ideally we're wanting a closure below all of this. Looking for continued bearish price action here. So it's actually looking pretty good. You're going to add 3 more in here. Just the stops to this high. Looks like we're spooling now. We're at VWAP. So looking for a closure below. That would incline us to add our last position size on here. See if we get a closure towards the bottom of this. And then hopefully if we can get below all this, that's where we will look to move to break even pretty quick. because we've got a fair bit of risk on the table now. Looking for an inversion here. We're looking at that's looking pretty good already. See how we close. No inversion, just got to be patient. Looking for a bearish closure now. Really looking to take VWAP. High time frames here now as well. So there's a 5-minute BC which we'll just come down into. So getting some closures. That's looking nice. All right, we're going to take this. See if we can spool straight past this here now, which we do. Good to see. You can get below here. We'll look to move to break even. Ideally, we come up here and tap this CV first and then melt away. And I feel a bit more comfortable when things starts to break even here. Decent position on, decent size. So there's our sort of tap into there. Closure below VWAP now. Looking for further movement to the downside. Just adjusting stops. You can get a closure and move away from this region. We'll look to break even. That's a nice tap of that CV right there. Just looking to see if we can get some melting now. That's a good start. Very good start. Stocks to break even right here. Risk-free trade right now. Always a good feeling. Got VWAP for a bit of resistance as well. Bit of help there. Probably look to take off half the position. If we can get down here, see if we can come down to this region. So that's about 1K, just under. Probably look to partial up like 3 in here and get down there. It has already been tested, so we'd want to see this continuing further to the downside. Dang, okay, we just got stopped out. I just quickly went to check where we're at. Could probably look to get back in here based on what we're seeing on these time frames. Trying to break even a bit too soon, maybe midnight open or just above would have been the play, but let's see how we go here. Really needing to check my high time frames here for a bit of confluence. View up now to see this reaction here. We're just taking out the liquidity there. We're going straight heavy in here. Stops just at this high. Same trend. A little bit annoying. Take it out there, but it is what it is. What are we looking at here? It's 1,000 now. Like marking this reaction, trying to retest view up here. High time frames are showing that we have inverted this BC as well, on a 5 at least. Looks like we've already come up, tapped on this 3-minute. Feeling pretty confident we should continue spooling now to the downside. Just adjust the risk slowly as we're moving down. I think I just put a bit too much on, moved it probably a little bit too quick, but hey, you can never be too safe when it comes to risk, right? Never be too safe. So we're spooling now, too good to see. Just trying to see how much we look to take off here. Whether we go majority off here or whether we go majority off down here. I think we'll just look to take 5 if we can get to the session lows. Probably look to go break even again, just take the risk off the table. And we are spooling now, which is good to see. Don't really want to see these levels of liquidity being weak and then bounce right back up. But being so close to the session lows, I think that's the clear draw for now. Probably look to pyramid in here too if you want to come back up, but don't need to go too crazy on the risk here. Already at break even, which is where you ideally want to be. You do have a volume imbalance which you might run out for, and we might pay slightly outside the lines. This high now, since we've taken out this liquidity resting, should be a safe spot for now. It's only $120 worth of risk, so I'm happy to leave that as is. Just let this one play out. We are spooling to the downside now, which is very good to see. Stops can definitely go break even. There we go. First T has been taken. We're needing about 1.1. The rest of the position off here. So 1,000. I don't like this closure though, to be fair. Then bouncing right back up. It's not looking too great. I learned from watching my footage from last week. I think I just got a bit too antsy when I was seeing the move run against me in certain situations. But I think I just need to be a bit more confident in the analysis that we had planned. There's reason for us to continue going lower here, especially after such a big spawning event. But we'll look to lock in about another 200 or so here. So 500 up on the day already is not too bad. Just trying to see if we push down a little bit lower for that monthly level. These high time frames are definitely going to be telling in terms of what we do at the Asian session low. For now, it looks like we're still trying to push a little bit lower, so it's looking pretty decent. So push, see if we close below, it's still moving lower, so close to TP. Nice little push, hopefully on this candle. Whoa, that wick stops to here. So $1,000 up on the day. I always dislike when it does this, man. It gets so close to these levels. So it's still away from the monthly, so we've still got some time, I think. Just be patient. We're $2 away. I'm breaching profit target here, so We'll try to do one more trade, just a quick one. See if we can get $2 worth. I still think we go down, but based on all these reactions, we only really need one here. See if we can get a long just to come up into this region here. I don't want to go against the trend though, so I'm just trying to be careful, making sure that this is actually where we've expired for the time being. Try to see if we push lower. Looks like we can't. Does look like buyers are starting to get involved here, but I just want to make sure that we don't get any more closures below these bodies right here. I'm just watching this line. Still got that monthly level below us, so I think that's going to be the draw for now. Just seeing this 1 minute here, see if we get a bullish closure. Then we just look to ride it up to literally any quick move. We're in. That's it. That should be, this one still has the tiniest bit. I'm just going to clear it. Clear these, and then look to take this trade on this account. See if you can get one more little push up in here. Ideally, we take these equal highs in here. $3.11. Should be good. Hopefully we get a bit more of a push here. We are going against the trend right now, so just gotta be a bit careful. Just trying to see on a 1 minute here where we could be going. All of this is just being tapped into. Yeah, probably still spool lower here, but let's just be patient with it. Not trying to rush it. We are like so close to hitting it now, so we don't need to do anything silly. Let's just try and go for a tiny base hit if it's going to give it to us. I think this zone in here, or at least like these equal highs, makes sense, but just have to wait and see. Yeah, it really looks like we're trying to fight to get up here, but let's have a look. Sellers, please chill out. Just for a little bit. Let your boy get funded, please. Just relax. And buyers are really struggling here. Gonna give it one more attempt to see if we can take these highs. If we can't, we're just gonna cut it. Get one more big wick like this. Just gonna get out, but let's see on this last candle. See if we can get a closure above. 3 accounts funded. Let's go. All right, beautiful little play right there for that tiny little long. Just anticipating coming up to here. But yeah, we are pushing lower, which is what we expect. Got this monthly BC resting right here. So this is where ideally we'd be looking to take some longs if we can be afforded the opportunity. Okay, so we've got this monthly level, we've drawn in, we've got the actual wick and then the whole body resting in here. We do have another bit of liquid here. So I'm just going to write this. Hopefully we get a push out to look too short in one of these regions just to continue the momentum. Haven't seen anything which would indicate that we are reversing. Watching volume as well quite. So once we see volume on the bullish side start to pop up, it indicates that lots of people who are short are now getting out of the position. So they're buying back. Once they're exiting, that gives us enough momentum to go long. If we see lots of numbers pulling in here on the volume on the upside, then yeah, key sign for a reversal. So that's why I have these volume profiles down the bottom. It doesn't always work because we've got to factor in like, we can only really see from this amount. Whereas if we take a 15 and we have all the people that got involved back up in here, well, it might not be enough to negate. And this 15-minute closure is very strong to the downside. So really don't want to be fighting that trend for now. Got this 15-minute civvy resting all the way up in here too. Now's probably a good time to just draw your Fibonacci out from the high to the low. And then around that sort of 50% area is where we'll be looking to get involved for a short move. So probably look to start in here. Stop letting us add any. Should probably be on the leader account. And then looking to sell one at 50. And we're looking to have 2 up into this region around the 60 level with another civvy. We just check on the 15 where we saw that civvy, which is resting pretty much at the 62 level, continuing this move to the downside for the time being, especially after that closure underneath. This is looking really nice for a 4 o'clock reversal profile. If we don't get all the way back up here, we might just get up into these regions on a lower time frame and then look to go lower. If we do, we're just going to miss out on the move. There's not much point trying to get a short in so low probability trade. But if we can wait to get in around here, and as I said, if we don't and we just start spooling, then we're just going to wait for hopefully a 4 o'clock reversal around one of these. So this is why it's really important to do your higher time frame analysis. You know where these key levels are, where price should be doing something, and then you just wait for it to actually happen. So just because we have it there when I first started trading, I'd draw a CVE or a retracement level, and I'd put in a limit order with heavy size. expecting that it's going to run from there. But sometimes it can blast through, it can just continue melting. You never know. So wait till you see that reaction at those key levels and then get involved. The counter trend, little scalp available here. Can look to at this point as we've inverted some 1 minute levels here. Didn't get a closure above this city, but I think on this 1 minute we have closed above the wick, which is usually, if we're running for this area, we should be continuing higher from here. Counter trend, so it's low probability, not a good trade to take. If I was going in heavy, I would look at taking a big position, stops just under this low and right up to 50, potentially up to the 62 level. When you're going against a trend, you never know when the momentum's going to pick up to continue, because basically with the trend, everyone's waiting to get in short. There'll be very few people that are trying to long in this situation. Like tug of war, whoever has the strength is going to go to that side. If the momentum's to the downside, everyone's waiting to get in on sells. That's pretty much who you're fighting against. So you're really fighting like an uphill battle. Then what you'd really want to long is when you see rejection wicks like this. We saw this here again, 2 rejection wicks, and we pushed up a little bit. Rejection wick, pushed up. Again, just waiting. Outside of 3 minute busy right now, just tapped up into this region. Still could potentially look for longs, but I'm not going to fight the trend this time. Just going to stick with the momentum. Looking to get in and around these regions. Pulling to the downside, and this is what I was saying, it's not a good idea to try fight. If we're taking that long, it looks like it's running for our stop already. It's just the momentum going short. Lots more people want to get involved to the short side. Better off just letting them do that. We really capitalized nicely on this move, getting in around here, taking it down to around this region here. So yeah, really stoked with that entry that we did get. And this is looking nice for our 4 o'clock reversal. So wanting all of these levels to be taken, pushed down to this monthly level. This is the first liquidity, and then we got the bissies resting below us here. So I still think we run down, still got draws to be at these levels. And then hopefully 4 o'clock, we see a sharp reversal to the upside. That would be ideal. Then looking at the Asian session lows, it's really got to be mindful of these levels. And when we're at on 15 is probably the best time frame to look at this. I don't like how steep this downward move was. Not a big fan, but the fact that we aren't pushing a lot lower from the Asian session lows gives me reason to believe that we don't have enough momentum to keep spooling to the downside. Could be wrong, could be very wrong, but that is my inclination based on what I'm seeing here on the charts. So we get a bit of a doji here. This would be nice on the 15, but we don't get enough bullish momentum. If we start seeing this fully engulf and push even higher and we close up here in the last minute, we'll take these trades off, at least just half some of the risk, because that's not ideal, especially with this big wick, taking out all the blows, bodies closing back up here, momentum injected in here. Now I'm just trying to see whether we invert this bullish candle right here. If we respect this busy, this idea is still in play. If we close below, I think we run for this. I think this is a bit too high risk of a trade to take, but we respected this busy that we were outlining before. We pushed up and now we're at this Subi on a 15-second. And looking across on a 3 minute, looks like we are respecting this Subi on a 3 minute time frame as well. So there is potential for a short here. I'm not liking it too much again because the risk reward isn't that great. We've got all this low resistance liquidity right here as well. Retail, they're going short and maybe jumped into the move too late. The market's more than likely going to push up, take all these people out, and then go lower. But it's approaching 4 o'clock now. It's probably look to wait a little bit longer and look for this short down in here. But typically with these reversal profiles, I'm not too sure. I don't really have a good read. And whenever that occurs, the best practice I've found is just to wait. Okay, nice. So still pushing lower. Last 10 minutes here. Probably looking at taking a stab at short. Just trying to see whether we respect all this. Maybe it's just the last minute push, taking out the liquidity, resting in here. Let's take this short here. So we're going to run a small short position, targeting these monthly levels down in here. Look to move to break even pretty quick here. Because again, it's a pretty low risk trade, but it's liking what we're doing here on these slightly higher time frames as we approach 4. Still like that play of taking all this out at 4 and then reverting at one of these levels here. Low, look to move stops to break even if we can. Just shy of it. Nice. Lows taken, stops to break even just here. Risk-free trade. So just let this one play. It's pulling to the downside a bit now. Just checking where we're at. Stuff's just slightly lower. Just accounting for the commissions and stuff as well too. So if we do get stopped out, really still green for all those fees. This is looking nice. So ideally what we want to see. And then I think these levels up in here get inverted, so we can take these off. We were wanting this to be hit first before running these lows, but if we already run these lows, I think more than likely we're going to invert back up here. Another cool thing, speaking to a trader in our Discord, probably the most qualified out of all of us, he manages portfolios and trades on their behalf. He used to trade on an actual floor, and he was saying when he was on the floor, they had like heart rate monitors, like checking their heart rate and when things were fluctuating. So I'm trying to implement that as well now. My resting is usually around 70, 65 beats per minute. Even just now in this trading, we're sitting at 86 p.m. It's pretty cool to see that, like this, my heart rate's already elevated. And so it's just making sure that it doesn't get too high as well. Usually when your heart rate's up, it means that your emotions are up too, because you're in fight or flight mode. Your sympathetic nervous system is activated, so you're just ready to go. And usually that leads to a lot more emotional decision making. You're rushing the process, you're scared, you're anxious. Ideally, if you can bring your heart rate down just by deep breathing, you'll be inclined to make more rational decisions. We just tapped off this CB resting up in here. Nice reaction. Move stops to just above this high now. So locked in about $37. It's not bad, like $35. Hopefully we just run for these lows now in the last few minutes leading up to 4 a.m. Don't need to do anything now. Pretty much just set and forget. We're trailing pretty aggressively here just because 4 o'clock is approaching. So if this wants to reverse on us and start pushing to the upside, just going to make sure that we're ready for that. But it might make sense that we do this. So it might not even run those, because with weekly profiles, Tuesday will take Monday's low or high. And so we might pause just before all of this, and then tomorrow look to run out the lows, bounce off this level, and then go up. Might not happen all today, so stay tuned for that. Still respecting CBs, which is what we want to see. So reaching these pockets and they're getting involved. Still got momentum to the downside. Just waiting to see whether we can beat lows or not. Does look likely, but you never know. Pretty close here now. We've just taken these lows, I think. Yep, we've definitely taken them now. We can push down to this monthly level, just trailing these stops as we get down. It's $100 left in. It's not bad. This gives us a bit of buffer room as well. So if we do want to go a little bit heavier on the risk and we do get stopped out, we've got a little bit of a buffer to negate the loss. So it's really nice when you can get a win early on in the session. Gives you a bit more confidence leading up to the rest of it. But we're looking for a closure now below orders on a 1 minute, which it looks like we might get. Sellers still want to hold this, which they do. Tiny little CB in here. Just trying to see if there's anything higher that we might run for. Volume balances, some small ones, but ideally we just pause here. Approaching this monthly liquidity that we saw before. I don't think this is too significant. If we zoom back out to it, it's off this massive wick that's here, and we still have this candle that's resting right here. Based on all that, I still think this is going to be our draw. I mean, look at this massive gap that we still got up here. We're ultimately in a bullish trend, as we can see here, past few months. So with all this reasoning, I think this would be terminus right here, but who knows, could go lower potentially. Might look to wick out these levels down in here as well. So just have to wait and see. Decent position right now. 4 o'clock is approaching. Go back to the 1. Nice. Equal highs right here. I want them in my stops, but it's such an obvious level for the market. People will have their stops here most likely. Every time you see equal highs or equal lows, it's just a target for, there's going to be liquidity resting at these spots. The market usually runs for those areas. All right, so last minute here as we approach 4 o'clock. We haven't pushed down too steeply. We had this steep move to get us to Asian session lows, but we haven't seen the same sort of action follow suit afterwards. So I think this is primed for reversal back to the upside, but let's just wait and see. Ideally, we react off this BISI. I don't really want us getting down to this one, as that's the full body of the candle. Ideally, we just touch this green line and then shoot back up. I don't know how we got filled there, but we did. Hit it just at 4 o'clock now too, which is brilliant. looking for an inversion, some momentum, especially on the volume side of things, and we'd be looking to go. This is the main move. I think this one will really carry up to the agent session highs. It was 4 o'clock, looking for an inversion of this. Still got this, which is slightly under. There we go. Just taking it. Body's closing. And still above because it's such a lower time frame. We've got a month to get away from this level before we actually close. It more than likely can call out outside the lines on these lower time frames. We just don't want steep momentum away from the there. We want to hover. And then once we can start getting that bullish momentum above these levels, can hit on the volume as well. That's when we're jumping in. Cool. We're just waiting for the buyers to get involved. And once we can see effective buyers stepping in, that's when we jump in. Is what we're looking for. Sellers are still going to try and take this short, especially people who don't have this monthly level labeled. They're probably still going to be seeing this and being like, okay, I'd look for an opportunity to get in short. But I'm really liking this. The body closure above this level as well on a 15-second. Just wait for one more attempt to go lower. And if we can't get it and we push higher, that gives me the indication that we've flipped. Still not closing below this body. Okay, we did just get a close now. I want you to see this really shoot up now from this point. Looks like sellers have paused for the time being. Just as I say that, they get involved again. If you just had a limit order waiting at these levels, probably would be in some drawdown right now. So we're just waiting to see what we need to see before we get involved. Just trying to see on a slightly higher time frame, maybe an hourly level all the way back here. Got liquidity resting in here. But we have just taken out this liquidity, which is here. So looking to see if we can get some momentum back or whether we want to run for these lows potentially in here. Could be like a 15-minute bitty in here as well, which we could be trying to find some support for. But let's just wait and see. I think it's the average true range, yeah. So still pushing lower here. Again, not fighting it. So I've zoomed out a little more and I see that we do have a weekly liquidity level right here. I wonder if we make equal lows here and start to push back up coming towards midnight and this agent session high. And Tuesday we fall a little lower and take out the lows resting in here and push. Since we're already at this monthly level, I'd like to see us start pushing back to the upside pretty soon. This reversal candle is nice. You see a lot of volume stepping in here. So a lot of people have sold their positions. That's what that's telling me. I'm going to try a small stab move here. Stop loss resting just here. And we're needing a bit. So I think it's actually going to be too bad with especially the levels of liquidity that we're working with right now. So we're needing about 1,015 or so. So that's pretty much us right there. And that's going to get us to the 1,500 limit on both these accounts. Still got to monitor on the smaller time frames. Still want to get our stops to break even pretty quick as we're moving against the trend here now too. So just got to be mindful. But I think we have every reason to start looking at this. We've seen the volume step in, lots of big wick right here on this 1 minute candle. For that reason, I'm inclined to think this is where we start pushing up. We've still got this weekly liquidity resting below us, so it could be wrong. It does look like we are about to be. Let's see if we respect 50% of this wick and then look to push back up. If we do, we're going to add into the position. Ideally, if we can get a closure above these resting highs right here. Let's see how we respond. Still need buyers stepping up here. Still struggling to close above. Great sign. And again, we are super early on trying to call this long. Stopped out. See if the body wants to respect this. The closure below this lows. For now, I'm not interested. Again, needing that bullish push and momentum to signify that we're going up. Probably too much risk on that last trade because we didn't see that momentum to the upside. But it's okay. Still up 150 for now. So it's really hard to not call the top and bottom. Looking for a microstructure shift above these highs on a 50-second with some displacement. That would green light us to go back for the longs again. Especially on this 1 minute as well. If we can invert this body's closing below that. Decent reaction here. Pressure in the last minute. This 10-minute candle as well. By some miracle, if we can get pushing above this monthly busy, it's going to be pretty good indication that we can start flipping here. Like this 5 minute too, taking that this low, body looks to be closing back up into the range. We get our closure above these highs now too. I think if we can push down into here, and we'll look to add on. All right, it's not looking too great. Okay, decent reaction there. Still close bearish though. Again, needing to see some bullish pressure stepping in here. Not going to add in just because we're still in drawdown. Haven't seen what we need to see. That's looking pretty good. Stuff it. We're going in. 350 still. Okay. Does that take profit? Here. So not too bad. VWAP still here on a 15-second. VWAP on these higher time frames still resting above. We are still trying to call this bottom, which is still risky, but I do think we have enough reason to anticipate movement back to the upside. Just trying to think when the 4 o'clock started. We did still spool lower there, which I don't like. And this weekly level resting there, yeah. Equal lows taken here. Do we still push lower? If we invert is a really good sign, but we need to hold the momentum. Seeing the volumes slowly start to slow down as well. We might get stopped out here. Holding for the time being. Just with these lows now. It's not looking too great, to be honest. Can see that I want to go, but that selling pressure is still very much there. We need a pretty strong push. We need to get above all of this for us to add one more partial in here. So we're making our way back up. We really need to get above all of this for bullish price to still be in play here, because we still could just be finding a bit of resistance here and then pushing to the downside. So I'm looking likely. Yeah, we don't. All right. These lows more than likely get taken here. We can close above this high. We'll look to add in. Actually, we got to close really above here, to be fair. Yeah, we need a closure above here. It's going to leave my canopy here. Now, I'm liking all this on a 1, but the thing that I don't like is that all these lows are so close together. So they know that liquidity is going to be resting right in here, which obviously as we saw, have just been taken now. Probably just need to size down on the risk now until we're very certain what's going on. I'm liking that we're not continuing to spool to the downside. We're sort of meandering slowly. We haven't had a few candles in a row to the downside. So yeah, I'm still anticipating this reversal. Just gonna wait for the right. This is what gets me to blow my accounts, is that like I'll have a reversal mine and sometimes it doesn't even play out. The worst is when it does play out and you hit your max loss of blowing your account and then you see the reversal. So probably just need a bit more patience. Wait to see that displacement, wait to see a lot of buyers involved, and then look to get in. For now, we're just going to hang tight, just sit tight. More than likely, wait to see if we can take out this weekly liquidity. Or if we see that push beforehand, that's when we're green lighted. But we're really looking for like a market structure shift above. Just wait, see what we need to see. We might be starting to see what we need to see here. We're at this CB level, which we were at before. We are starting to respect, but looking at if buyers can start to hold. Once they start being held quite early, like we're not getting down to these levels, we're having breakaway gaps, it indicates that we do have enough buyers on our side now. Still got a volume imbalance in here on a 15. I really like this 5 because we rigged all of this and the body has remained above. This is really good reversal profiling right now. Got gaps on now, got new gap, got Asian highs still intact. I'm thinking we make London lows of the day here, and then we look to push up. Just wait and see. Expecting CBs on a 15-second now. We're going to go pretty heavy on this one. Probably be the last trade of this account. About 1.8. That'll do. Taking into account spreads and all that. So yeah, it's really this 5-minute candle right here that confirmed us. I probably should have been doing that as well, like rather than having a 1 and a 3, at least a 5-minute chart to indicate when reversals might be in play and adjust the risk as we go. Don't want to give too much of the profits back from yesterday, but we're sort of risk-free with the other 3 accounts passing. I'm not really as worried, but I still really do want to try to get this account specifically funded. The one that we've been running since the 18th of December. So it'd be really nice if we can get that one funded. We have just weak this liquidity in here, so we do just should be a bit mindful. Not a bad spot to add in right here. Rather at entry to probably a bit too much risk for me to carry right now. So you think about doing that just now. Just waiting to see what we need to see. See if we can invert this here. If we can invert here, then we'll look to add in right at entry as well, but we need to invert this first. Nice inversion. Back down into here. We'll be happy if we just take away into complaining. Pressing these civvies in here now. Just gotta be mindful. Still looking to add. If we can get down to our entry where we're already at, I mean, pretty heavy on the risk here, but that's all right. Getting ready. Letting this liquidity be taken now. Last little push. All right, nice. Tapped in. Came a little bit too heavy there. I don't like that we came all the way down here, but let's just trust in the process. If we can get above these highs, we'd look to move to break even pretty quick. It's a lot of risk on the table. And this can come right down to, what was it, 160 or so. I'll do. Right, we're back at this volume imbalance here, going lower, which isn't great. So we'd mind to get out of the trade if we can get back up into these series in here. We'll see the reaction here. If it's pushing back down again, we're just gonna have to get out. All right, good hold. Really need to invert this here. Otherwise, we're sort of done though. We get out of this one. Still pushing back up though. So see how like the candle close here, but we pushed right up here. Indicate that there are buyers still in play. I think I've held on to this one for a bit too long. Might have to pay the price on this one. Still got this level. All right, watching here now. Making equal highs. Come on, bulls. Come on, bulls. I'm just going to quickly mark this. Let's see reaction here. We stop pushing to the downside. Pretty hard to get out. Can we invert this orange line? Okay, I don't have too far to go. With this risk size, it's not bad. Halfway through. If we can get a bar, I definitely think we can hit this target. What do you say? Yeah. And the fact that we still haven't inverted is making me feel uneasy. Probably move stops just to this low. Still gonna be a heavy loss. Not moving too high, which is not what you want. You want to be trading in markets where prices moving in certain directions. If we respect this CB here, it's not looking good. Still just dancing right now. If they show $100, we down $1,000. Yeah, I still think we get taken out. Yeah, probably should have done that a lot earlier, but heading to what it is. This closure, we're back in, and that'll be the last trade for today. Just need to move out this though. In this 5 minute, we can invert this level in the last few seconds here. Maybe we should just hang on. There we go. We're at this point now. Let's trade for the day. Stuck in these closes right now. So this is definitely not a good way to trade. I don't recommend this. It's just for the combined phases of passing like as soon as possible. Going pretty crazy with the risk here, but if this is a funded or a personal account, just take it slow and steady. It's definitely no need to rush like I'm doing right now. Last few seconds here on this minute candle, pushed up the lower entry and then we came back down. I'm not seeing too much bullish momentum or bearish for that matter. So we're just gonna hang in here last few seconds of this minute. It's not great. That's not great at all. We do this body closed above. We're just not seeing much momentum at all, which is a good sign. It does indicate that sellers more than likely are going to be watching where to exit. And if it's not moving any further down, people might start exiting their short positions here, which we'll see in bullish momentum being added in. But let's just wait and see. It's looking pretty positive. The reason I say that is we had this candle up in here. Lots of people appeared to sell off, and then we came all the way back down. We had a bunch of buyers stepping in to bring it right at the same point that we were at before. And now we're starting to see some volume. So more than likely, that's a lot of people just selling off their position. People that are being short, selling off now, and then potentially looking to flip and find opportunities to buy. Let's wait and see if our patience is going to pay off for us here. Watching this 1 minute, we're at this CB now. So ideally, if we can invert this, that's not what we got to see. So if we can get above these highs, we'll look to move to break even. Got a lot of risk on the table here. Start looking great for the 1 minute here. We do have a closure at these highs though, which is a nice point. But let's wait and see. Just looking for a closure above these highs. If we can get it, stops. Probably come to this low here now. Obviously, kind of upset, but it is what it is. And it's what you get for trying to go against the trend. This is what I was saying before. Like, when you've already had such a steep move from Asia, everyone's inclined to go short. So you're really going against the grain right now. But once all the people that are short are out of their positions, then you're green lighted to go long. And we're starting to see that play out. Once we see some bullish structure and movement to the upside, I think we should be okay. We're back at that monthly level, which is ideally where we want to be closing for the day. Did have a further push down than I anticipated. Let's just see how we go. We can move to break even pretty soon. We can take this high. Worried about all these lows resting around here. It's not a good sign. But we have started to respect from here, like not making new lows. We hope a bit of a trend line going up this way. We are back. We're still pretty much in this position. We did get up that break even. Realized loss is a little bit less than what it was. I think down by like $15 or something. But we are in this long position. It does look like we're starting to find some momentum to the upside here. So we're going to move substakey. Got a lot of risk on the table. This is probably the last shot that we're going to have in the London session. Probably going to lock myself out of the account that we were up $1,000 on, just because we don't really need to give it all back. If we're down to like one, it would be back at our starting balance. We can reset on that account. With this one, that's only available till the 18th, so 5 days. We are going to have to get a bit more of a move on. Seeing where we're at, I don't really like that we've got this busy right at this 1 minute level here too. So much liquidity resting in here. We've just really been accumulating. I'm not the biggest fan of what we're seeing, but we probably did move stops a little bit above. If we could just chip away from this loss of today, that would be ideal. But hopefully we just run up, take our TP, and that'll be us for both of these accounts. Another one, I don't think this one will be funded, but will be about $500 off, I think. And this account, I think we're going to be about 1K away, maybe a little bit more, but we'll just have to wait and see. Try not to count the profit as well before we're there, but just sort of pre-planning as well. We've got 15-minute BC in here. I'm contemplating moving stops to just here. That's at 270. Hopefully none of this gets ran. See us coming down to take out this low. Hopefully there's just a breakaway gap now too. We just push for the upside, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, back a few minutes later, still spooling to the upside here. So then move stops to break even now. Dollars are so locked up, and we're just going to wait to see if we can reach up to this high. I don't really need to do too much. Already come back, tapped into this 3 minute. Check the 1 minute. We did reach into here. We shouldn't be coming back down to these lows. If we are, we might still look to run a lot lower. Just watching this BC in here now. But ideally, we're just respecting BCs now and looking for longs. Still pushing up, which is what we want to see. I'm a bit annoyed at myself for not being patient, trying to get this reversal. Ideally, this would have been the play around here. We had this market structure shift above all of these highs. We didn't take any liquidity though, which I don't like, but we're at the key level and we're seeing that price had tried to go lower lots of times and it just hasn't. So this ideally would have been an entry right here where we did get in. Really nice spot on the entry here. We're approaching this market structure shift level that we identified before. We can close above here. Really looking good for further upside. Maybe tap off the Asian session lows. We've still got midnight open, and then we still have the Asian session highs all the way up here. So long way to go to the upside if we are right. We don't really need to do too much. I'm happy if price comes all the way back down here, takes us out, we'll be up for $67, and that's fine. I think going back to what I was saying before, I noticed on last week's trading, just moving stops and partialing maybe just a little bit too early. I think partialing is fair enough because that's at key levels where you're expecting price to do something and volume to come in. So that's fine. But I think moving stops and getting out of trades just a little bit too early rather than letting price run to where you had anticipated. Just checking on a higher time frame to see where our target would be. So at this 30-minute civvy, ideally we look to take a bit more of these. More than likely, I'm going to anticipate low sellers getting in back here at the Asian session lows, using that as resistance to continue going to the downside. But based on what I'm seeing here, this 30-minute closure now, closing at the peak of this move, it's looking good for further bullish pricing, at least till around here is what I'd anticipate. Let's wait and see. Approaching the market structure shift spot that we had in orange, which we marked out before, just swing this back into a lower time frame. Looking at the 5 minute, we've just started this 5 minute candle. So ideally, if we can get a strong push closing above this high, it's going to be looking really good for more bullish pricing here. Just wait and see. At this level now, on the 15-second, just wicked above. Look like people are exiting some of their positions in here. Wouldn't be a bad spot if we had more risk to run with. If we just doubled this, there would have been our 1.5 for the day. Pushing back where we're at. I like that people have exited and we push right back up again, which is what we want to see. Approaching VWAP now. There's that temptation to just get out of the trade, be up like $100 again, but just got to be patient with it and let this one continue to run. That's what it wants to do. We got Bissies resting in here on a 3. On the 1, we're probably going to have some more volume imbalance right here. So that's a nice draw. Price could be coming back to there before it goes back up. We still do have this BC in here as well with lows resting here. So liquidity here could run all the way down here, tap in there and take everyone out. So yeah, usually if we're going to CVs, like even this one here, we've dug just a little bit underneath it. So just got to be mindful when you're moving stops for that as well. Look for where price could be coming back to refill, and then just make sure your stops are a little bit away from that position. But this is looking really nice here. Definitely want to see this on a higher time frame. That if we get a 3-minute closure to start us off with, it'll be a good start. This VWAP's going to act as a fair bit of resistance already with such a downward move too. So just going to be mindful of that. Looks like we just get the closure on the 3-minute just above, which is what we want to see. And then now we really just got 2 minutes to wait for this 5. Wanting to see the same thing happen on a 5-minute chart here. Might not be this 5. We might push down into here first before going, but this is looking pretty good for the time being. Leave things as is so that the market do what it wants to do. We're back after a little break. We are now respecting VWAP as our low, which is really good to see. Daily stops should be moving to about here, taking 270 off. Just being really mindful with adjusting these stops here. I think we have enough reason to keep on pushing all the way up here, but you just never know. It's the market's fast. Alright, moving slow and steady towards hopefully this TP now. Still making higher highs, lower lows, which is good to see. It's a bit frustrating too. This is like why it's always a good idea to lower your risk if you're not sure. That's a mistake on my end, just going way too heavy on the reversal, especially when we haven't seen that movement away. That's something we just really got to be mindful for. I actually look too partial in here, just so we don't have to go all the way up for our TP. Seeing if we can take out all of this liquidity resting here, potentially these lows. We've got to be mindful. If we start moving down with a lot of displacement, it's going to mean that people are offloading their long positions in here. But just based on a 5-minute, we have this market structure shift above here. This might be around 50%. I think it's actually going to be a little bit higher than that. How deep this wick is. Yeah, so 50% is still all the way down here. So that's 3-minute imbalance. So we could come all the way here. And then on 1 minute, there's probably going to be FEGs all around here. Just got to be mindful for, but I don't think it gets all the way down there. The worst I can see is us getting down to here on the 3-minute. If I do see us traveling, we probably are going to be moving stops to about here, just so that we give it enough room to breathe. Even if it wants to wick this low, we're still going to be in the trade. Ideally, we probably still going to break even, to be honest, just to give it enough room. If we give away the profit, it is what it is. I think we're a lot closer to the target than we are our entry. Based on all that, I do think we run for at least some of this up in here. Midnight still all the way up here. New day opening gap still all the way up here too. This is where I tend to unravel my good trades. A lot of newer traders do this as well. Especially when you have a loss, you just want to negate the loss and have that feeling of uncomfortability gone. By doing that, you would just do too much with the trade. You'd be moving things, taking partials. Whereas if you just let your trade sit there and let your plan play out, that's how you get max profit. So that's the strategy we're going to employ here. I'm just being mindful of 7. So 7 usually is like a reversal profile away from the direction that we've been moving leading up to 7. So close to 7 o'clock, depending on where we are, I will probably look to partial majority of the position off. Probably take 10 lots or so off, leave 5 on. And just, again, depends where we are at for that. So we'll just wait and see. Spooling down towards that sort of 50% of this move now. Be a bit mindful. Sitting at VWAP pretty much here too. As you can see, we're resting at VWAP now. If we can flip this, and we have found support on here before, now we're coming down for another test. If we can push away from here, this is looking good. But again, we still could come lower into these pockets in here. Just wait and see. What we sort of were planning has played out, taking out all of this liquidity resting in here, taking out the equal lows that are all resting in here, and body is still closing above. Reached into this 5-minute BISI, and let's see on the 3-minute, we're still a little bit higher from where we're at. It looks like we might just be respecting this one, but we'll tell in 1:20. I'm taking the higher time frames, and we potentially might actually get stopped out here. Here's about 50% of this move that we were talking about. The only reason I'm saying that is I'm looking at 10. This 10-minute candle does not look good. 5-minute, oh, sorry, this 30-minute candle, that's even worse. We're seeing this last 2 minutes now if we can respect this. If we don't, and we close below and invert, I think we potentially might be going lower. Still got 2 minutes, so we don't need to fret just yet. We're now at that 50% level. Here's where we definitely want to start seeing buyers get involved. If it wants to run all the way down, we'll at least walk away with like 200 or so. But ideally, now as we start to see all of this being ran through, we've reached the 50% level, we draw our fib again. So even if we come down and take all this, look for a reaction around here, we'll just have to wait and see. All right, just flick this back to a 5-minute on the left as we approach this last minute. If we can still respect this busy, it's looking okay for longs. But the minute we start inverting, especially on the 10 on a 5-minute, then it's not looking too great. I don't like that the 4-hour has closed below this monthly BC, but again, this is a monthly time frame. We still got a lot of days before this month. Still got 18 days. So we're here pretty early. It's good that we have tapped into here. If we see on a monthly, where else could we be going on the downside? All of this is being efficiently filled. The only way it would be going is if we came all the way down here or all the way down here, which is of October 2 years ago. Chances of that seem pretty unlikely. Nice closure on the 5, but we're spooling right back down. Thank goodness we adjusted these stops. For these reasons, sometimes price can just paint outside the lines. You just want to make sure that with your stops, you're giving it enough room for the trade. If we can take this high, this will be our new stop. So 340, 345 locked up. It's not too bad at all. I'm liking this volume though. Like that is insane. There's a lot of people that have gotten involved here. Finally starting to see some volume. Just being mindful of 7 once again. It's that 6 o'clock candle here. If we look to push down lower again, I think we're running the lows. Ideally, we don't get down there. Let's just wait and see. We seem to be getting some bullish momentum coming back. That was pretty scary. That was pretty crazy. Wanting all of this inverted now, looking to make new highs. This is looking nice on a 5-minute. Stick the 3. Still a little while to go. So just stick to the 5. It's going to close the soonest. This is looking really nice. Back at that sort of 1.4 mark. We'll put stops here. So we'll be down like negative 300 for the day. We get stopped out. That's not bad at all. Hopefully we can just pump from here though. Hopefully we can invert this. And then it's all looking pretty rosy. Okay, so we might get stopped out here. We originally had our stops at this low, but it looks like we might be testing to come back down here. I don't like this inversion on the 3. Here, this went for 5-minute. Maybe we're going for 50% of this wick. Wouldn't want us to be coming much lower than this point right here. I think there's 50% right there. Want it to just sort of chill. Ideally we start inverting right now, but not looking too likely. It's pretty wild that we made this low and then it looks like we're coming all the way back down for it again. That's a bit frustrating. At least we're down to negative 400 instead of 8. It's not looking too great. Potentially, maybe we take out this low. Body's still respecting on the 1 here. Just taking out this low. If we didn't get stopped out too early here. Still got pockets in here that we might look to go long in. Looking at the 1 minute here, volume is closed quite close to 50% again. Could see an inversion here. If we do, then we'll look to get in. Continue this upward move. Strong bullish price action here. We do invert. Let's just see if we hold this here or whether we continue lower. Don't need a rush. Pretty much at this civvy. Looks like we're inverting. We do invert. VWAP's right here, so we'll see if we can get a better entry. If we can somehow push down, it might just take off without us here. But we should see sellers getting involved here. Oh, we just want to push straight past, it looks like. See if we can get a better entry. It doesn't look like it. I think we might just take off from here. Let's start a bit lighter with the risk here. Stops at this low. Probably should have kept it at this low in here, but it is what it is. Just trying to see where we'd be wanting to get out of this position. And session lows, most likely. If we can get up there, probably find some resistance at this point here. Definitely looking to add into this position, just trying to wait for a good opportunity. So be patient. Decent PA. See if we use VWAP now as a bit of a core. So 30-second might have been a bit better to use as we had VWAP resting right here. We probably couldn't look to keep our stops where it was. Still would have been in profit as well. But it's alright, can't complain. They've at least reduced some of the risk. Right, cool. This is ideally what we want to see. Might just get out of this position as well. Take a little bit of profit off the table. And wait till we can get a bit of entry in around here. Ideally around VWAP. If we can come down to here. Alright, just gotta be patient. We'll look to add in 5 here. 5 at this point. And then if we can get any lower, we'll look at another 5. Okay, very close to VWAP now. Nice reaction there. Let's see if we can push down for one more little tap. Looks like we don't want to get there. But we're going to add another 5 in here. And this one is being a little bit restless. So I'm going to take you down to mum. Or if we were still in this position when we get there. Good call. Okay, we're back. Little one is downstairs. Now in at this busy. Potentially look to even add more. It's just this risk is going to get pretty high, pretty quick. But I'm liking what we're seeing. Still respecting this busy. And 5 more. We're needing what? 1907. That's pretty much exactly. If we can get there, not too far to go, especially on like a 30-second chart here. Just need to see more of this on a higher time frame, but this is looking good right now. I lost a lot of risk on the table. I was just going to say I want to move my stuff to break even here. Just because equal with BTs resting below them and within the downtrend. Moving this to break even is a play here. If we take these out, we've looked to get a VWAP that's resting a little bit below. Up to out, took a bit more of a loss because of the spread. That's annoying. Let's see if we can take out these lows that are resting here. Hopefully once that's taken, we can continue to the upside. We don't go much further lower, but again, just lack of volume right here. Very hard to call. I'd switch back to a 15. Chances of this going lower, I don't really see it if I'm honest, based on all this PA too, but just be patient, take these highs and overhang. It's like we're pushing up higher now. Yeah, I really want all of this to be swept, but we just might not get it. Switch back to a 30. Hopefully this is the sweep we were anticipating. If we respect this though, might just have to go long again. Push it down straight away. Just gotta be patient. Gotta be patient. Pushing lower now. Thank goodness we did stop ourselves out here. Just taking these lows. Yeah. There's the wick. Trying to see if we can get any lower. Yeah, there's gonna be our entry in here. Stop's gonna sit just here. I like that we're taking these. Bodies are closing back above. A second, which is really what you want to see. Risk is a bit lower now too, which is good. Super game about this. Hopefully we leave a gap and then look to add in here. Patience does pay, especially when you got that plan and idea. It was nice we stopped ourselves here. Sort of kicking myself thinking this was going to run again, but I think that was the right decision. I'm still pushing down a little bit lower. VWAP still resting now. Bussy's still in here. We did tap this one. So if we can start pushing away from here, and now we close, might add 5 more. Definitely want to see this invert. But this 1 minute in here too, just got to be mindful of. No, last second push. Needing an inversion here, which we do get, it looks like. It's pretty hefty. We can add on into our position if we get this inversion. Alright, nice. We'll look to add 5 in here if we can come down. It's waiting, not just for. I just missed it, but there we go. That was very quick. Added our full positioning. I'll probably move stops to these lows. If we get taken out, can always work to potentially get back in here. This is looking pretty decent. 1 line. Be our target. Let's switch to a higher time frame, see where that is. Okay. Still a fair ways to go, but looking nice. So many wicks around this area, it's crazy. If we can push up there, it's a good sign for bullish momentum. It looks like a lot of people have exited here. If we keep on pushing higher, it's about 50% from this fair value gap, which is where the bodies are respecting. There we go, wicks there. Even if you want to take it from the full fair value gap, wicks still at 50% right here. More than likely, he will exit in it. And if bullish momentum is still strong, we should push through all of this. Tiny little FEG in here. Just going to adjust our stops as we're moving. Just accepting that if we get knocked out here, we can look to get in, or maybe the trade is moving against us. Still a little bit annoyed that I didn't leave my stops here. If we would have been fine still in the trade, just would have had to manage a bit more. But it's all good. I can't complain, and can't complain at all. Still in the trade, which is the main thing. So ideally, stocks should be going in here, but based on the momentum we're finally starting to see, I think hopefully we can be pushing right back up. A long video. Usually the videos I record are about an hour and 15. And I got to cut it back to 45 minutes to an hour. But this one's going for an hour and 48 minutes. So been on the chart for a while today. And I'm just seeing on a 3 as well. We have this big gap and our stops are here, so we can break even. Give it a little bit of room. Potentially if we take out this low, that'll be frustrating, but minimizing the risk we have on the table. Even if we can close this day, break even, I'll be happy with that. Based on the PA, I'm spending a lot of time on the chart, so my mental alertness and awareness is starting to fatigue. I can feel that. Not going to push it too much more than this. I think this will be our last attempt. I still think this goes higher, but with the mental capital that I have at the moment, it is waning a bit thin. Being at the charts for 3.5 hours now, I've got to factor that into the decision making starts being rushed and emotion. And it's just not a good idea. Better off just coming tomorrow. So pretty much at break even now. I still think we probably push down to try coming to here before pushing away. If we don't, then rip. I just adjusted stops because I'm sitting here on a 15. We do have VWAP and a BC resting right at the same time. That's a good draw for price to come here. Might color outside the lines a little bit as well. $162 risk is not too bad. Hopefully we keep these lows intact. I don't like that we've got double lows here. Definitely not a good thing, especially with all these BCs resting below, but I'll be okay to take the small hit here as well. Price action is just being pretty yuck right now. I think there's just a lot of indecision. I've noted that monthly level and expecting price to reverse. Yeah, so we are coming down. I did adjust the stops here because we do have VWAP resting right here. I want to be up just a little bit because the spreads do knock it down and we do still end up taking losses, but this is looking quite nice right now. Nice little push. Good adjustment last minute. And that's why it's always important to keep an eye on your time frames. If we can close above this 3-minute BC now as well, it should be smooth sailing, hopefully, for longs for the rest of the position. But yeah, it's been super choppy. Not ideal conditions to be trading in right here. But we got to do what we got to do, right? We're starting to see steep rejections away from BCs now, which is a good sign. Means buyers are starting to get involved again. But coming right back down isn't ideal. Stops slightly above break even here. I might move them just a little bit higher. Still got all these levels below us, which is why we're still a little bit hesitant. But decent push away now. It's good to see. Just super choppy price action. Like this last, I don't even know, probably an hour has just been crazy. From 5:35 till the last hour has just been chop city. Stop down here. Smash stops a little bit to account for the spreads and all that. It's just yucky PA, really awful conditions to be trading in right now, but it is what it is. So we do have these triple highs here on a 5-minute, which is a pretty good draw for us to keep going higher. All this has been filled, so unless we're continuing to the downside, there's no reason for us to come back down here. But there's definitely a reason for us to be pushing up higher here, so don't need to do anything for the time being, just need to be patient. Just adjusting stops a bit aggressively here now, just because I don't want us coming back down again. There's still a 1-minute BC in here. Ideally, we can just start pushing now, hopefully. 1 minute's looking poised for us to run these triple highs right here. This is looking pretty clean. Just gotta be mindful for 7 once again. Just taking equal highs. Hopefully we still close up towards the top end of this candle. If you can close above this dotted line, be looking really nice. Ideally needing to see it in this 30 seconds. So if we get up and then we close again down here, not looking too great. We'll probably to here. But let's see if we get this closed in this 30 seconds. If we close bullish still, like around here, I'll still just leave it. See if we can get the closure. Pushed up high once again. Got about 5 seconds to go. The stops based on that reaction, just to the body of this low right here. Just checking where we're at on these other time frames. There's the 3 to 5 minute BC right there. So we should ideally be seeing buyers stepping in here. Got this little gap potentially. Could be running full. Might go just to this low now. Don't like that we didn't close above these highs. We just wicked it and then came back down again. It's not ideal, but on a 5 really is we'll be telling. We can come back to here. We can close anywhere in this wick. It's going to be looking nice for further bullish pricing, but if we close bearish, Might get stopped out once again. Thinking about calling the trade here to walking away break even. Let's see where we close. Still bearish. Very close to our stop here. Not looking too great. Definitely would have been stopped out if we kept our stops here. Daily stops still this slow now. Again, we're going pretty aggressive with the stop loss movement here. Whoa, the 7 o'clock is just, we hadn't even push up. This stop loss movement from this to this low might have just saved us here. Don't want to speak too soon. That's a decent reaction of the 7 open here. Stops can stay with 0 for now. Hopefully we run from TB for here. Approaching the CB now, which is pretty much at this monthly BISI that we marked out before. Because we were expecting to use this as support, this might be resistance now to the downside. So just have to be mindful of that. But based on all the higher time frame analysis we did before, I'm expecting all these levels should just be disrespected. We'll just push right back up. Okay, so stopped out. I did move my stops just a little bit lower as I didn't expect all of this to be ran through here, but that's okay. Let's see where we're spooling down to now. 7 o'clock though. So you're always going to be mindful. Well, it looks like we can just cut back in. I'm reaching that point. That's probably should be done with. Super frustrating with that TVs right there. Just trying to see which pocket we could be going for. Looks like the momentum has flipped to the downside once again, which isn't ideal. Is this a busy? It is. These lows definitely could be on the cards to be taken, and then maybe we push back up. There's a blowing imbalance right here on the 15. Right, there's all that liquidity again, right? This 1 minute busy here now. See the reaction. It's looking pretty decent right off the bat. Back this, just start with 3. And if we're taking this low, we can just look to maybe get in at this volume imbalance. That makes a lot of sense. All right, respecting this, see where it closes, which we slightly do. Still at 50% of that box, of that wick, which we outlined before. Be mindful here. Because we've taken out the liquidity right there, it still gives us a green light to go long. Nice. Okay, do some push here. 5 minute didn't close too great though. Looking for a closure above this. Struggled to get above. All right, we're right back at it. Got 5 in here. All right, still respecting these. Lows right in here at this 1 minute. Nice push up. Switch back on the lower time frames again. Right, VWAP right here as well too. Let's see where this closes. Decent closure. Got enough reason to have support here, to be honest. Let's be mindful before we go crazy with the risk here. Looking for a closure now above all of this. All right, wicking these lows. The minute isn't looking too great. So I think we can turn around at this point. Because I think this is where the 15 minute busy was. Volume imbalance right there. I stopped it pretty much at it, but I had a really bad stop placement. I don't really want to read too much more. That's the only reason why. This box is actually a little bit shallow. But see the reaction here at this volume imbalance. No bueno. We run into a little bit of drawdown, still trying to catch this long. We had some shorts in here, but this is the last trade I'm going to take forward. On these 2 accounts, looking for hopefully a run up to our final TP, which should put us at the max profit that we can take for the day. Right now, I can probably look to even had a lot of risk on the table today, so try and minimize that as much as possible. The reason why I've got pinned at this spot here is we had this 1 minute see in here, which we did tap quite nicely. Looking at this one, we can see the bodies on the 1, respecting it on the 30-second, respecting. So it's quite nice, especially after we closed so here. We had a doji and the body's still closing above. So last run here, looking for hopefully. And the reason being, based on a 5, we're still struggling to get to where we were back here. Did have this steep at 7 o'clock, obviously taking all this out, closing below. I think this is going to fade a lot of people to the downside, especially with all this momentum. If we can take these highs right here, I think we should be home and dry, but let's wait and see. I did want to say one more time, I'm not advocating that you trade like this. This is purely my combined strategy to pass them as quick as possible. Time pressure on this account, we do have to go a bit heavy with the risk, and that's why I'm over trading. Definitely traded way more than I need to because on a funded account and be done for the day. Last shot here, if we can indeed get this push. If we take out these lows here now, it's definitely going to be off the table, but just adjusting the risk so we can walk away with something. And the day negative 650 or so. and come back tomorrow. Still got 3 days to pass this one. Last minute, we did come all the way down. My stops were at break even, and we had this BC right here. Looked like we were reacting pretty decently off this. Price action has just been garbage today. We're going to break even here. To forget, we're definitely going to take a bit of a loss, just being so close with so many lot sizes as well. It's been a rough one, but that's all right. Looking to go at this body right here now. That should be a break even if you get stopped out here. Really don't like this. I'm really sort of choking the trade. I should have my stops here and just accept the risk, which is what I might actually. That's a lot to lose though. We went down to this spot now. See the reaction here. Yeah, this bearish momentum is still heavy, But once we start like not respecting, like still respecting VCs and then start disrespecting civvies, it should be an indication for sellers to start stepping up. I still think it's going to be bullish with today. Let's have a strong buy side. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not too married with that. I got to make sure that I'm aligned with price. For now, I'm definitely against that trend based on this market structure shift that we've seen here. So just got to be mindful. I want to see this inverter. Nice respect on this too as well. So actually going to jump back in here. The 2.2189. That's good enough. Yeah. Decent pushes now. I want to see this inverted. Closure above VWAP would be a really good indication here as well. Still miles below on 1. So yeah, until we see this, like everyone's still going to be bearish, especially on a 1. If we zoom out even higher, this VWAP going to be resting higher and higher now. So right now, definitely we're still bearish in terms of the rest of the market. And this is just the price of calling the reversal very early. You just have to weather the storms of sellers still trying to push it down and still trying to have that bullish momentum to the upside. It's looking really nice. Looking to invert this as well. You just got to be mindful because we've had this change in the delivery after taking out all of this liquidity. Move back with displacement. So we could just be coming to the zone before we start moving lower again. Ideally, we just run straight through these. If we don't see that, we're just going to have to start adjusting pretty aggressive. Can already start doing that, to be honest. Just going to mark out these levels. This one. Let's mark out these sticky points where price could reverse on us. There's one there, which we do seem to have just gone straight through, which is good. We've got liquidity resting here. So I'll just switch this to here now. Back at break once again. The roller coaster of like being in profit and then not being in profit. Stuff's going to break even now. Go resting just above here, taking another $100 off or so. Nice push past the liquidity. So this is the main one that we need to be watching. This orange line. If we can get past this orange line, I think we are good. Nice closure on the thing. Now I've just got to wait out this last 30 seconds on this minute. Up about 300 now. Really good price action that we're seeing now. 1 minute inversion of this level, which we were kind of worried about. We got VWAP approaching. Based on this sharp move, the fact that we've eaten all of this up, we haven't come down to where we were earlier in London session. I'm still thinking London makes lows of the day. Let's just wait. We're at VWAP right now. That's why we're seeing a bit of resistance. We're approaching this 30-second CB at the monthly BC level that we outlined before. So let's just wait and see. We invert this, be a good sign. Hopefully we can run up, and that's us done for the day. We did slightly invert on the 30-second, and on the 1 minute, we did close slightly above VWAP. So everything's looking all right for the time being. Just got to be mindful of the liquidity that's resting here at these highs. But trying to see what break even would be for us here. Right in the middle of this busy, which isn't too great. Let's go around here, I guess. So around 450, which would be back where we were actually at the start of the first drawdown period. So I think that's good for us here. If we reverse all the way back, just got to accept it. It is what it is. Can't win them all. If you look on a higher time frame, we're probably at some key CBs right now. Yeah, so we got this one right here. And then pretty much for the rest of it, I think we're high and dry, to be honest. This 15-minute candle looks really nice too. Hopefully we can start making our way back up to the Asian session. We've got in here as well, which I imagine lots of buyers are going to be exiting out of their positions at. Especially this is looking really nice. Up about 1 grand right now. Gotta be patient. At that monthly liquidity spot right now, looks like we are pushing higher above it, which is good to see. On a 15, we are inverting. We might run to take this high and then push back in the last sort of 2 minutes or so. So just gonna be mindful of that, but we are quite close to our TP right here. So don't need to do too much. Just watching the 15 to give me where I am. If we close under I still like the bullish momentum in here. So I don't think we need to panic too much. It's definitely not what you want to see being so close to TP, but there's a lot for us to come back in before we continue with them. So I'm not too stressed. Still just got to be mindful. VWAP here on the 1. Drop this down. 5-minute level is all in here as well. Just got to be mindful. Just got to exercise patience. All right, we are starting to come down a little bit lower. That's all right. Based on all this momentum, I think we look for pullback re-entry in here. So I'm going to look to add on at VWAP here. Just looking at the 5-minute, we've got busies resting there, and we've also got another one resting just in here. But if we do get down to this level, I will look to add on. We're very much in profits. Safe to do so. TP would be a little bit lower, probably in around this region here, but ideally we just blast through this and we should. Decent closure on the 3-minute. We did make some equal lows down here though. I do think this gap eventually comes to get filled, maybe 8:30 open, spool down into here, take out liquidity, push up from 9:30 and aim back at midnight, and then 8 in session highs as well. I think that's the main draw for today, especially after spooling to the downside already. I don't think we take Monday's low now on Tuesday. I think more than likely we take Monday's high. Depending on where we close today, I think Tuesday will start pushing down and then look to take the high and continue moving up for the rest of the week. I'm calling all-time highs, if not this week, next week. Trump gets in office as well next Monday, which will be huge for crypto and the US dollar in general. Based on all that, we've tapped off a monthly BISI now as well. So all these factors combined, I do think we are primed to go a lot higher. So I'll be looking for longs pretty much for the rest of the week. But let's see here, approaching the city. Okay, finally, we are pushing to the upside. Let's see if we can take our TP here. So close. Please don't do me like that. Let's see. That is insane. Again, don't need to do anything. Just be patient. Imagine if this just absolutely floors now. Like, it stopped out here. Man, I might cry. But no, we should be alright. We should be alright. Just gotta be patient. Wow. The markets, man. If not this 15, the next 15. Here we go. Price is just having a few days. 9. Oh, that's huge. So if we check here, we're about $500 away from passing here. And then we're for getting funded on this account that we've had for pretty much a month now, which is crazy. So super stoked with that. Good trades today. Please do not trade your funded accounts like this. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with some funded accounts. Peace.